realistic earth. The term enlightenment in English is a translation of various Buddhist terms, particularly bodhi and vimutti. Bodhi, an abstract noun, signifies the knowledge, wisdom, or awakened intellect of a Buddha, rooted in the verb bud, meaning to awaken. While buddhi is used in various Indian philosophies, its primary usage is in Buddhism. Vimukti, on the other hand, denotes freedom from or release of fetters and hindrances. The Western understanding of enlightenment was popularized in the 19th century through translations by Max Muller, carrying connotations of general insight into transcendental truth or reality. The term is also applied to translate various other Buddhist concepts, including initial insight, knowledge, the cessation of disturbing emotions, and the attainment of supreme Buddhahood. The exact nature of the Buddha's awakening remains unknown, possibly involving the realization that liberation results from combining mindfulness and dhyana to understand the arising and ceasing of craving. The relationship between dhyana and insight poses a fundamental question in the study of Buddhism. In the Western context, spiritual enlightenment has taken on a romantic meaning, becoming synonymous with self-realization, the true self, and an essential essence concealed by societal conditioning. The etymology of bodhi traces back to the Sanskrit word, meaning awakening or perfect knowledge or wisdom, derived from the verbal root *bud, indicating to awaken, know. Corresponding terms like bhajati, Pali, and buddhati, Sanskrit, express becoming aware, perceiving, learning, knowing, understanding, or awakening. Robert S. Cohen highlights that most English books on Buddhism translate bodhi as enlightenment. Bodhi, according to Cohen, is not an outcome of illumination but a realization or understanding, making enlightenment an event-oriented term, while awakening is process-oriented. The Western usage of enlighten has Christian roots, as seen in Calvin's assertion that it is God alone who enlightens our minds to perceive his truths. The early 19th century translation of bodhi as intelligence shifted to enlighten in 1835, gaining prominence by the mid-1870s and dominating English literature by the end of the 1880s. The discussion extends to related terms like insight, prajna, and nirvana, exploring their meanings and developments across Buddhist traditions. Insight, often associated with bodhi, leads to the realization of the Four Noble Truths in Theravada Buddhism. In Mahayana Buddhism, bodhi equates to prajna, insight into Buddha nature, sunyata, and tathata, reflecting the non-duality of absolute and relative, dhyana and insight. The relationship between dhyana, meditation, and insight is a fundamental aspect of Buddhist practice. The exact nature of the Buddha's awakening remains uncertain, with theories suggesting it involved the realization that liberation arises from the combination of mindfulness and dhyana applied to understanding the arising and ceasing of craving. This intricate interplay between meditative absorption and insightful understanding forms a core problem in the study of Buddhism. Evolution of terminology. The term enlightenment found prominence in the Western world. Insight, prajna. In Theravada Buddhism, bodhi is linked to the realization of the four stages of enlightenment and becoming an arahant. The equation of bodhi with the Four Noble Truths is a later development, responding to changes in Indian religious thought where liberating insight gained prominence. Mahayana perspective. In Mahayana Buddhism, bodhi is equated to prajna, insight into Buddha nature, sunyata, and tathata. It signifies the realization of the non-duality of absolute and relative. The Bodhisattva ideal, emphasizing liberation for all beings, is central in Mahayana thought. Prajna in Theravada and Mahayana. In Theravada Buddhism, Panna, Pali, refers to understanding or wisdom, equivalent to vipassana, leading to the four stages of enlightenment and nirvana. In Mahayana, prajna, Sanskrit, involves insight into sunyata and is often considered synonymous with the attainment of enlightenment. Chinese and Japanese terms. In East Asian Buddhism, the Chinese term wu signifies initial insight, while Japanese terms kensho and satori relate to seeing into one's true nature. The Rinzai tradition considers Kensho essential for Buddhahood but emphasizes further practice. Knowledge, vidya. The term vidya is used in contrast to avidya, ignorance, indicating knowledge that frees from samsara. The Mahasaccaka Sutta describes 3 knowledges attained by the Buddha, including insight into past lives, karma, and reincarnation, and the 4 noble truths. Freedom, vimukti. Vimukti, synonymous with moksha, denotes freedom or release. The distinction between Sito vimukti, liberation of the mind, and Panna vimukti, liberation by understanding, is recognized in the Buddhist tradition. Nirvana. Nirvana, often translated as the blowing out of disturbing emotions, signifies liberation. The term enlightenment gained popularity as a translation for nirvana in the 19th century, influenced by Max Muller's efforts. Buddha's awakening and Buddhahood. 3 types of Buddhas. 3 types of awakened beings are recognized in Buddhism: Arhat, those who reach nirvana following the Buddha's teachings; Pratyabuddhas, attain nirvana through self-realization without teaching; and Samyaksambuddha, Buddha, reaching nirvana through personal efforts and teaching others. Buddha's awakening accounts. Canonical accounts in the Buddhist canon describe the Buddha's attainment of liberation. Suttas such as the Aryapariyasana Sutta and the Vanapatha Sutta narrate the Buddha's journey, ascetic practices, and attainment of insight into past lives, karma, reincarnation, and the 4 noble truths. Critical assessment. Scholars like Schmidhausen and Bronkhorst critically examine accounts that include the 4 noble truths as constituting liberating insight. The evolution of descriptions of liberating insight and its relationship with dhyana remains a core problem in the study of early Buddhism. Understanding of Bodhi and Buddhahood in different Buddhist traditions. Early Buddhism and Theravada. In early Buddhism, Bodhi was synonymous with nirvana, signifying the extinction of greed, hate, and delusion. In Theravada Buddhism, Bodhi refers to realizing the 4 stages of enlightenment and becoming an arahant. The ultimate goal is nirvana, involving the abandonment of fetters and cessation of suffering. Mahayana perspective. Mahayana Buddhism interprets Bodhi as the realization of the inseparability of samsara and nirvana. The Bodhisattva ideal emphasizes liberation for all beings. The understanding of the path to Buddhahood varies within Mahayana schools, incorporating a wide range of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Buddha nature and Tathagatagarbha. The Tathagatagarbha and Buddha nature doctrines equate Bodhi with the universal, natural, and pure state of the mind. This intrinsic state requires the removal of defilements, emphasizing the non-duality of observer and observed. Western understanding of enlightenment. Romanticism and transcendentalism. In the Western world, the romanticized notion of enlightenment as insight into a timeless, transcendent reality gained popularity through figures like D.T. Suzuki and Heinrich Dumoulin. This vision, emphasizing feeling, intuitive insight, and a true essence beyond appearances, mirrors the romantic and transcendental ideals of Western thinkers. Critique of the notion of experience. Critics argue against framing enlightenment as an experience, as this introduces a false duality between the experiencer and the experienced. The term is criticized for its potential to mislead by implying a subject-object relationship.